One boy, one dragon, a world of adventure. When Eragon finds a polished blue stone in the forest, he thinks it is the lucky discovery of a poor farm boy. Perhaps it will buy his family meat for the winter. But when the stone brings a dragon hatchling, Eragon soon realizes he has stumbled upon a legacy nearly as old as the Empire itself. Overnight, his simple life is shattered, and he is thrust into a perilous new world of destiny, magic, and power, with only an ancient sword and the advice of an old storyteller for guidance. Eragon and the fledgling dragon must navigate the dangerous terrain and dark enemies of an empire ruled by a king whose evil knows no bounds. Can Eragon take up the mantle of the legendary dragon riders? The fate of the empire may rest in his hands. And yes, folks, I am doing a dramatic reading of Eragon by Christopher Paolini. I might be mispronouncing that. And it is the first book in the Inheritance cycle. Originally, the Inheritance cycle was going to be the Inheritance trilogy, and the author realized he writes a lot, so it got split into 4 books. Now, before I continue, I just want to calm everyone who is here for my Animorphs dramatic readings. And, like, okay, Jash, we came here for Animorphs, and you might be wondering if this dramatic reading is going to affect my Animorphs dramatic reading. And the good news is no. Now, here's how that will be the case. Usually, my Eragon dramatic reading will only have one video release per week, and that will be on Wednesdays. And the only other times that won't be the case is on days where I'm doing my Animorphs dramatic reading, but there's only going to be one video release per day, unlike usually where there'll be 2 videos released on Monday and Friday. And those special days are the final chapters of a book and the outro video of the book. And actually, yeah, so earlier today, finally I got to the final chapter of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kate Applegate. So today is one of those rare days where you're going to be getting an extra Eragon video. And also this coming Monday, there will also be an extra Eragon video. And then that won't be the case for a little bit. So yeah. So that's just reassuring my regular viewers. And yeah, I'm doing this sort of with the whole YouTube algorithm, and you should release the same. Uh, you should release a regularly up. Oh shit! Trust me, folks. When I go to reading, it'll be fine. I just do horrible without a script, so sorry. But to sort of help please the YouTube algorithm, you have to release videos regularly. And so I possibly, just not do, possibly by doing one less video, I might be making it harder for it to find. But so yeah, that's the whole reassuring and backstory. And yeah, folks, I'm going to be reading the entire Inheritance cycle. So, Eragon, Eldest, Resinger, and Inheritance. And after I get finished with Inheritance, I may or may not do the short story collection that was released back in December. So I just wanted to sort of get a feeling of if I need to take an Eragon break or not. So yeah. And yeah, Eragon to me is going to be a little bit of a challenge just because I just find doing dramatic reading where it's first person point of view to be easier because everything's done from that point of view and you're very clear cut. So this is basically a third person limited, which is the coward's first person point of view. Like, hey, I'm not totally not doing first person point of view. I'm a cool kid. So at least it being third person limited will make it hopefully a little easier for me to tackle. So yeah, and my dramatic readings, as always, are just an interpretation of the text, and I do highly suggest you also read the actual book itself to form your opinions. Because remember, whenever I read, I'm just giving my interpretation of said text. And if you want to read Eragon for yourself, if you're watching this on the YouTube's link in the description. If you are watching on my blog, link down below. And both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Eragon by Christopher Polini. Now, I can understand if you don't want to buy it by those links. But if you do, you get your very own copy of Eragon by Christopher Polini. You also help support said author. And finally, you help support me and all I do with my blog. God, I was actually going to say something else, and I'm like, I'll just I'll totally remember it. Okay, I did the ads. Did that? And I think there was something, but it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember, and it's bugging me because it's crystal clear before I talked about the links. So yeah, I might remember it. Oh yeah, okay, good. I remembered before. Good. Okay, okay, because this is actually very important. Like my Animorphs dramatic reading, with my Inheritance Cycle dramatic readings, I'm going to ask you not to give any spoilers in the comment section down below. Just so that if, these videos are a person's first encounter with the series, there are some really big twists and turns, and you really shouldn't spoil it for first time readers or listeners. So remember that. But if you do want to talk spoilers with me, if you're watching on the YouTube's link in the description to my Tumblr Ask Box, which I've read the entire series twice. So you won't be spoiling me, and I would love, to discuss the series with you. And yeah, the actual first chapter, well, technically prologue of my Eragon dramatic reading will be on Monday, sometime after my outro video for Megamorphs #1. So, please subscribe so you don't miss out. And until next video, goodbye.